So Vortex here, welcome to my review of the TRN VX Pro. These are an updated version of the VX model, which you normally see in green, was out around maybe 12 months ago, maybe a bit more. And this is a higher driver count. It says there are 9 drivers, so there's 8 BAs and 1 DD, as you can see there. So there's 2 in the nozzle, which is normally not a good sign, 2 on the left, and then obviously you can see the 4 on the right. So 9 drivers total, obviously 18 including both sides. And as usual, full disclaimer is this was sent by Lynn Soul for review, so thank you very much. I was not paid to do this video, and as usual, all the thoughts and opinions are my own. And yeah, so let's just get straight into it. So mine is the blue one. They do use the same shell as the VX from last year, but the actual outer shell is different. We'll see that in a bit. Already opened it to save a bit of time, but obviously this is, like I said, the box. Mine is the blue one, which you'll see in a bit. Like I said there, 8 BA, 1 DD per side. Nothing really on the side there. So it's got German testing on it, which is kind of cool. Obviously mine is ocean blue. I don't think I've even seen a silver one, and mine's no mic. And yeah, so that's it. So this is how it opens. So the flap is at the front. So at least it's a bit more premium than it used to be. Here's it. So like I said, compared to the VX from last year, it's the same shell. It's actually quite small for obviously from the driver count. Right there's a vent now, which is for the DD. Same kind of tips I think from last year. 2-pin. If it will focus. So TRN 8 BA 1 DD, that's right. Obviously the left's just the same. TRN Audio VX Pro. Lip on the nozzle. I've tried before this video. I've actually briefly tried them so far, and they actually seem to work fine. And the actual comfort is it's fine. Let's get this at the top. So you got in here, you got some tips, you got some more tips, and you've got some more tips. So you get quite a few. Actually include a 1/2 inch. That's kind of cool. Never seen that before. Well, I've never seen that with a TRN product before. That's probably the best way. So in there you got warranty and QC, instruction manual if you need to use it. Let's just have a quick skim through it. So this side is in Chinese, English about TRN maintenance, how you use them, how to touch the cable, how you fit them. There's some burning instructions, noise floor, distortion, how to play the best sets of earphones, as you do. Yeah, and the back is just different languages. So it comes with a metal case. Kind of cool. At least for your money, you're actually getting more than you actually used to get. Let's see what you get. So a silver cable. Reminds me a bit of the cute like KZ ones and things like that. And right angle connector. So I'm going to open this up and actually have a look what this is like. So the included cable, right angle connector, which is good. Got a big strain relief. So I guess it's a silver cable kind of material. Kind of reminds me an awful lot of KZ and CCA kind of cables. Strain relief there. These kind of cables normally are quite easy to actually tangle. So there's a very small L, if you can see by my right thumb. No colours on there, so they're kind of hard to see which is which. That one just says R. Just make it out. But yeah, it seems okay, I guess. It probably did the job. Shame there's no colours on the actual ends, so you can easily see. But yeah, I'm gonna actually show you the tips, because it actually includes foam tips. So I'm going to quickly show you those, and then on to the actual. In the future, I will then link the reviewing. So these are all the included tips I just didn't show you. These are basically what come with it. These kind of ones. He's got the red bore. Comes with white ones, which again have kind of the same bore size, as you can see. Basically the same. And some foams. It's kind of a wider bore. Obviously these do actually have a slightly brighter sound, but I'm going to explain that when I've used these. I'm going to put a lot more hours on these, and then I'll edit the reviewing. But yeah, it comes with all these tips. These are kind of similar, so, and the material seems the same, so I'll have to see what I actually like. And yeah, now on to the actual review in the future. So yeah, finally onto the review of the VX Pro, as you can see. So straight on to comfort. Comfort on these is actually fine, considering the actual driver count. These are not very big. Obviously you can see there, 8BA1DD. Obviously there's 6 BAs here and the dynamic, and there's 2 in the nozzle. I'll explain about the BAs in the nozzle in a bit, but comfort was fine. Isolation was okay. And yeah, so no issues with things like that. Exactly the same as the VX from 12 months ago, or just over 12 months ago. It's the same shell apart from the back. So, and powering them, I didn't really have any issues with power. Obviously with so many armatures, you want to power with something that's quite clean really. But yeah, I had no issues at all. So yeah, straight onto sound, obviously that's what you're here for. Like I said, there's 2 balanced armatures in the nozzle, and obviously they make an effect. So like now I'm going to overlay the graph of the actual VX Pro. Start from the lows. So the bass is actually quite good actually. The decay, it has enough slam. It's not really a sub bass monster or anything. As you can see, it starts to roll off around 40, 50, 60 hertz, and it rolls off a bit. It's more of a feels like more of a mid bass hit than a sub bass hit. But the low end is perfectly fine. So I didn't really have any issues with that. The dynamic driver they use seems to be quite competent for the actual low frequencies. But the bass texture was good, fine, no issues at all. Male vocals sounded fine on these as well. Obviously depends on a few factors, if they're more of a higher pitched male vocal or lower pitched. Lower pitch seemed to sound a bit more realistic, just because it's just how they are. Now mids, a lot of the mids is actually fine. These are more of a treble centric earphone. As soon as you plug it in, I noticed it straight away before I even graphed it. But you can see straight upper mids, it is really elevated, and you hear that. So in female vocals, it's far too forward. It's far too elevated, shall we say. Again, these have got the same kind of tuning from memory that the old VX have, and that was too bright. But the VX did sell, allegedly, it sold very well in a few markets. Personally for me, or maybe Western ears, we didn't really like it, but the VX Pro on the whole is kind of the same. But anyway, upper mids, you can see it's elevated like 2K, but it keeps all the treble high. So like it doesn't roll off at all. So a benefit, this is a positive. These are very detailed earphones, and they are fine if what you're listening to is if there's a low amount of treble, shall we say, and then these brings it up, and then it sounds okay. But if your music's already got a lot of treble or sufficient treble with this tuning on the top of it, it's kind of far too much. Now, 2 balanced armatures in the nozzle. The previous model had 1. This is 2. They should never do that. Now the price you pay of that is, it sounds kind of not fake, but it sounds very unnatural. When people say it has a BA timbre or it sounds metallic, that's exactly what these sound like. That's what KZs used to sound like when they put an armature in the nozzle, and it sounds kind of metallic-y, kind of unnatural sound, and it's that. But KZ fixed that with the ZAS. There's no armatures in the actual the nozzle, and they do sound better than these. Tuning's a bit different, but I'd prefer the ZAS over these just by design. So yeah, back onto the treble. It sounds kind of unnatural. It's kind of the very bright. These are a good candidate for an EQ or kind of modding it or things like that. But I always do everything out of the box, no EQ. How you get it is how I'd get it, and vice versa. But yeah, these are very treble focused. They are kind of V-shaped, as you say, you can see from the graph, but the bass plays a part, but the treble plays more of a part. I think it helps that they've elevated the bass more on this one, I think, than the last one, which does help. But I don't really like the actual treble. It just sounds there's far too much of it, and it just sounds, it's just fatiguing is probably the best way to describe it. But again, a positive of that is treble is detailed. These are very detailed, but they sound unnatural with it, really. It's kind of a shame, really. I like to have seen them go away from armatures in the nozzle. So I have a ZAS next to me here. So here's a ZAS. Different driver counts, 7 BA, 8 BA, so it's close enough. This has no BAs in the nozzle, they're all here. That's got 2 right in the nozzle, the VX Pro. They should have took a leaf out of KZ's book and put them in the shell. But that's it, really, not much you can say. But imaging on these is actually okay. But I mean, so much treble, it just sounds kind of odd. Some tracks sound kind of odd because there's too much of it. There's not enough balance with the sound. And I think that's going to be pretty much it, really. As you can tell, I'm not really keen on it. This may suit certain markets more. The Asian market do prefer more treble and more upper mids. So this may be a better product for, say, China or Asian markets. But I think for the Western here, we'd probably find it's got too much treble. Like the last year's model was kind of the same. I didn't really like that either. And they are kind of get pricey, but yeah, I just want to be honest, just get it out there. I think, as you can tell, I'm not really keen on these. Having no armatures, balanced armatures in the nozzle, I think would have helped. Then it would still have had 6 armatures, which is more than enough. But yeah, I think that's going to be pretty much it. But I'm not that keen on it. They do have potential. I think these are more suited for certain people than others. But they do have good technical performance because of the detail and the driver counts and the treble, the forwardness treble. And yeah, I think I'm going to pretty much end it there. And yeah, thanks for watching and take care.